Okay, so our block this time is Birds in the Air. That's one of the names for it. You want an obvious dark and light fabric, so we're using two different fabrics this time. Out of the dark fabric you want a square that is 12 7/8. Now if like me you're using up scraps and you don't have a full square, I'll just line this up and I'll just explain what I did. Actually it might help if I put my ruler around the right way, make it less confusing. So that's there and that was there. So I put my ruler on the fabric. These two here at right angles measure the 12 7/8. Across here I had pieces missing where I'd used the fabric before, but because this side was intact I was able to go with that. So I cut my square as close as I could to it and then cut across diagonally to give me my triangle. Out of what was left I cut the other fabric that I need. So you want two squares in that same fabric, 4 7/8, and then you're going to cut them in half diagonally. Out of the lighter fabric you want 3 squares, 4 7/8, and again you're going to cut those. You're going to end up with an odd piece that you're not going to be using. So if I just lay this out roughly, just to demonstrate what we're going to be achieving. There we go. Turn those round. There we go. So you're going to end up with one of the dark triangles left over. So the process for this one, first of all we're going to be joining these 3 sets together. So turn those over. So we're going to make our half square triangles. So it's a different way that we've done it before. So we're going to join those together first and then we'll add on these other triangles to our rows. And then we'll finally, the larger triangle will add on to our big triangle there. So get my machine set up and get ready to sew those together. So we're going to be using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. I'm just going to line those up. And I'm just going to chain piece those. You just want to make sure that you let your machine take the fabric through. You don't want to be pulling it. By doing that you're going to stretch that seam and we don't want that to happen. That's 2. That's the last one. Okay then, so what I'm going to do is just separate those off. So what I'm going to do is take these to the ironing board. I'm going to press them. Just remember you're going to press, not iron, because again you want to not stretch those seams out. So press first with them flat like this, then open it up, and you want to press it so that the seam is on the dark side. I'm just going to go and do that and then we can add our triangles. Okay, once you've pressed your seams, I've got mine done there, you just lay your squares back into your starting block just so that you know that you've got them in the right place. Then it will save you joining the wrong pieces together. So now off the top row I'm going to be joining these two triangles, squares together, and to line up that top edge. There we go. And then I'm going to do the same off the next row. This time I've got my triangle there to line that up. And again I'm using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Just snip that off, and off the top row I'm going to add my other triangle, and then I'm going to press these rows together. Go. So this is the second row. Now I'm going to press this one, and then I've got a triangle to add onto that bottom edge there. There we are. Press that one. I've pressed the triangle going out so that we're not getting all the bulk onto that dark square. And now I need to add this triangle in here. Just going to line that up. And to add that on, and then I'm going to take all these pieces, right, let's open that up. I'm going to press that one there, I'm going to press that one there, and then I'm going to join those rows together. Okay, you'll notice I haven't trimmed it at this stage, so when you press that bottom row out, see we've got nice crossover here. This is going to go into our seam allowance. If we'd trimmed that, then we would have lost that. So the trimming will come later. Right then, so we're going to attach our next row on. Just make sure that when you're going to do this that you've got it lined up correctly so you're joining the right bits together. So I'm going to nest up my seams there, line up the edges. That's better. So I'm just going to start that off and then make sure I've got that lined up. And there we go. So just make sure that's lined up. Again, nest in my seams. Again, you let the machine feed it through. That should look better, that's it. And what we're going to do now, I'm going to take that to machine and press this before joining on my last triangle. So there we have it. So what I need to do now, to place one on there, I'm going to line those up. So, okay, what I've done here. With this one I've pressed the seam open because it was fairly bulky. I wanted it to lay flat. So if you find that pressing it to one side it's not laying even for you, then by all means there we go. So I'm just going to just take some time to line those up. Again, don't stretch it. Your piece part of the triangle will be slightly bigger. Don't worry, we're going to be trimming this down to size once we've done this. So let the machine feed it through, 1/4 inch seam allowance. Go. I'm going to open that up, and there we have our block. Just go one final press. So now it's all together. We're going to trim it to 12.5 inches square. So I've got my diagonal lined up with the triangle. Diagonal there, top and bottom is matching. Just going to trim off, oops, okay, make sure you got hold of it so it doesn't slip out of place. Trim the points and the excess off the side. Turn it all the way round. Again, line up your diagonal. There we go. And there you have your block.